How often do you get booked? Is it worth it? Alright, it's just me again this week. I've just gotten a lot of Connor content. I know Britt's the main attraction, and so I'm not nearly as cool. I feel terrible. She just dropped me off at the airport, and she's got both the boys, and if you know our boys, you know that they don't love the car, and they especially don't love the car for 6-hour drives. So that's where she's finishing the 6-hour drive. I was dropped off at hour 4, so she's got about an hour and a half, 2 hours more, and I feel so bad because they were not loving it. Today's video is about our Airbnb. So I'm here in the airport just awkwardly talking. But there was a bunch of questions on Britt's Instagram, and so I'm gonna answer them because Britt says I'm the Airbnb guy, and honestly, I don't feel qualified to even call myself that. There's a lot of accounts that are a lot better and have way good information that I love to follow. One is Robuilt. He's like an Airbnb wizard, obviously, bigger pockets. There's a bunch of accounts that I've followed, books I've read. So I don't know that much. I'm not considered a professional. I like it. I want it to become a profession of mine potentially, is real estate investing. But I'm a noob. But we've had our Airbnb for a year, so I'm gonna answer some of the questions and go over some of the details for it. And maybe it'll inspire you guys to invest in real estate as well and become just a total nerd about it like I am. So this video probably won't be as vloggy or cool unless you're trying to go to, where's that place at? Orlando. I'm not in this gate. I'm farther down, but there's less people here so they can hear me talk. Question number 1 is, do you have a property manager or like a full-time cleaner? And the answer is, you're looking at the property manager. Me and Britt are the property managers. We manage it from afar. And then we do have a cleaner, and she is a legend. Her name is Raina, and I've never met a more detailed, oriented person. She is just gold. She's on top of it. She crushes it. She's amazing. We love her. Her and her husband Alex are amazing. So they clean our cabin. To clean the cabin, she charges $95 a cleaning. One of the other questions was, how often is it cleaned and like how thorough are they? So Raina does a really good job of cleaning. We do have her deep clean it once a month just to make sure that everything's taken care of. And she's kind of our eyes and ears for what goes on at the cabin. So she'll send pictures of like, hey, this was broken, or this happened, or you might need to fix this. For example, there was a moment where there was water leaking out of the dishwasher underneath, so we had to replace the dishwasher, and she just sent a picture and said, hey, this is what's going on. Her and her husband Alex measured the dimensions of everything, so I was able to order a dishwasher online. This is pretty cool. I didn't even know that you could do this, but Home Depot will deliver the dishwasher and install it and take the other one away for like $50. They're basically our eyes and ears, and Britt and I handle all the bookings, and we just let Raina know at the beginning of every month, hey, these are the cleanings, and then anytime we get a booking, we tell her. And then if they do anything to help with, like, stop by the cabin to fix anything, we pay them for that. How often do you get booked? Is it worth it? So this area is a very high booked area, and occupancy typically ranges between the 85% range. So it's like 85% booked our cabin this last year, and it's seasonal, so the prices change. It's not like your daily rate is the same every single month. Like, there's some months that are lower just because it's not as a popular destination, but like in the summer and in the fall and for some of the holidays, it's a great place to go, mainly because the leaves are changing, kids are out of school, there's so many fun things to do. So in those months it's busier, but yeah, we were 85% occupied with our first year. Our Airbnb is in Pigeon Forge, Tennessee, right next to the entrance of the Smoky Mountains, and there are a lot of things to do there. I was actually blown away. And when Britt and the kids came with me in October of last year, We had so many things to do. You go to the national park, there's so many hikes and walks and trails to go to. There's putt-putt, there's so many types of activities for kids. There's go-kart racing, there are jump houses, we went to this place, there's the coolest aquarium I've actually ever been to, or please believe it or not. There's alpine coasters, there's zip lines, there's so many things that you can do there. If you just look up Pigeon Forge or Gatlinburg, Tennessee, I think you'd be surprised at how many things there are to do there. So when we bought the cabin last year in June, something that's crazy that I didn't expect, that I didn't know, but our realtor explained to us over there, was that most of these cabins are vacation rentals. So when you buy the cabin, you just get all the furnishings and everything inside. The question was, how much did it cost for furnishings? And honestly, we didn't have to furnish much. We just did a few minor tweaks because it was already a running, well-established Airbnb. So we changed the mattresses, we changed the bed, we got different types of blankets and some decor. We filled out the kitchen with all of the supplies you need, And then, what else did we do? Oh, I just took a bunch of stuff out that we didn't like and sold it on Facebook Marketplace. But yeah, they call them turnkey cabins, where you just basically inherit everything that's in it, and then you can go through and change it. But we didn't spend more than $2,000 or $3,000 getting everything set up, which was honestly a big blessing because it was nice. Next question was, do you make enough money every month to cover your monthly expenses? And the answer is 100% yes. This is an investment property that cash flows. And when I say cash flows, it's after mortgage, cleaner, any utility expenses, any damages. It makes a couple $1,000s a month. The high month, like in the summer, it makes more, and in the fall than it does in the other months, but we've always made over the mortgage, which is great. And feels really good for one of our first investments. So one of the questions was, how do you know you're following local or state laws? So from what I understand, you need to have a permit, and in every county or city there's a tax that is due on running a vacation rental, because it's like running a hotel. And in certain counties, Airbnb actually pays that tax for you, because they've got to deal with the county. So in Sevier County, where we have our Airbnb, they actually just take the tax out, and so it's paid for us. And then we have a permit to have our cabin there and have it as a vacation rental, and you just do that through the city. And then basically anything else, I asked our realtor, and our realtor has a really good connection with a property management company, and so she'll ask him any questions I have, and then he'll just relay back to me on what we need to do, if it has whatever else we needed to make sure that it's legal and that we're law-abiding citizens. Did I have a mentor? Yeah, I've asked. Yes, I would say one of my mentors is a good friend who also has bought there before, a couple cabins. Condos. He's an inspiration to me. I want to live my life like him. He has a bunch of Airbnb/rental properties and wants to do real estate full time. I've spoken to a few other people that I would consider my mentors. I ask them a million questions. I'm probably way too annoying, but I'm a nerd about it. I've read a lot of books and listened to hours of podcasts, but I do love reading about real estate. And if you haven't listened to the Bigger Pockets podcast, obviously that's classic. And they have a rookie podcast where it's like trying to tell you where, if you're a rookie trying to get started, like myself, and they have a bunch of episodes, and I listen to that anytime I'm in the car. I try to listen to at least something a day and read something a day about real estate, because I'm just a nerd like that. I'm just geeked out. So we did this loan that's called a second home loan. It wasn't considered an investment loan, and some of the rules with that is that you have to you have to use it as a second home. And so, but the uniqueness about this loan is that it's a 10% down. So instead of like the average interest rate, the average investment loan being 20, sometimes a 25% if you don't want to pay PMI. So we did 10% down, and we got a really good interest rate at 3%. This was obviously a year ago when interest rates were epic. But that allowed us to be able to get it because we couldn't afford much more than that. But that was one way we were able to get the property. Yeah. No one explained this to me, but when you're trying to get a house or an investment property or whatever, there's like this 3-step thing. Someone asked, like, how do you get started? What's the first step you do? Number 1 is to get pre-approved by a lender. It's either one or two is kind of interchangeable. You get a realtor, who will refer you to a lender, or you get a lender and they refer you to a realtor. You decide on the place where you want to do it, and then you find these two people. You get your pre-approval letter, which will last for 90 days after they go through all your finances and your income. They'll give you a pre-approval letter saying you're approved for X amount, and then you'll take that to your realtor. And I just scrolled Zillow all day, and I would see a cabin and say, hey, I like this one. Send it to our realtor. Her name's Tabby. She's a legend. Tabby will go look at it or message the listing agent and say, let's make an offer. Or typically she would go do a video tour, tell me about it, tell me what she liked about it, tell me what she didn't. She knows kind of my goals and what I want in the cabin. And so she'd go video. She probably videoed 3 or 4 before we bought this one. And she's been doing it for us since as well. So she'll go, take videos, send them over, and then if we like what we see, we'll make an offer. So you just write up your offer of however much you want to pay for the cabin, when you want to close by, sign so many papers that are kind of scary because you're basically signing your life away, and the offer. And then if your offer get accepted, then you kind of go down the road of getting all the other things. But obviously, just in today's market, the biggest thing has been getting your offer accepted because there's so many all cash buyers. But yes, get a lender, get a realtor, and scroll Zillow all day. The questions was, how do you ensure that it's like stayed maintained and taken care of? So with our cleaner there, I ask her to take pictures of certain things, and sometimes I ask our guests like, hey, is there anything that you think could be improved at the cabin, or anything that you think could be better? This is after they've stayed, and sometimes they'll give me feedback. And then our neighborhood, our HOA management group has a team that you can hire to go through and look. Like last year there was a bunch of trees that needed to be trimmed, and so I had them go look at them. They took a bunch of pictures of the trees saying, hey, these need to be fixed and changed to this. So we paid them, and then they took a picture showing that they had done all the work. So it's just kind of managing it from afar. One thing that I've learned from one of my friends that I would also consider a mentor, he was like, okay, because I'm not super handy, unfortunately. I'd like to be like my father-in-law, who's an engineer and can fix anything and everything, but I'm just unfortunately not that skilled. So my friend told me, he's like, yeah, so say you get to the house and something needs to be fixed. What are you going to do? Are you going to fix it, or are you going to call somebody to come look at it and fix it? And I was like, probably call somebody to look at it and to fix it. He's like, exactly. Being from afar, it's the same thing. You're just not there because you can't assess it, which you don't know anything. So that's brought a little bit of peace of mind. But also some nights I go to bed and I'm thinking, this is crazy. I have a house, because we don't own our house that we live in right currently, but we have a house that we own somewhere else that people are sleeping in. And I hope it's okay, but I definitely think someone would tell us if something was wrong. So our cabin is a 1-bed, 1-bath with a loft, so we call it a 2-bed. So there's a king-size bedroom, a king-size bed on the main floor, and then a queen-size bed upstairs. And I'll link the video here to our cabin tour video. One of the questions was, how many investment properties do you have? And if you have more than one, was it hard to get the loan for the second? So we bought a townhouse with my father-in-law. We partnered on it because that's one easy way. Someone also was asking, how can you get a property for being so young or just getting started? What's an easy way if you don't have a lot of money? And one of them is partnering with somebody. So with my father-in-law, because of our income, we hadn't made enough, but we had some cash. So we invested with him and we split the down payment and split everything 50-50. I manage the tenant. It's a 2-bed, 2.5-bath townhouse in Logan that we rent out long-term. So we have a guy that's been there and he's great tenant. So I manage that from afar, and anything that needs to be fixed, he lets me know. And then our deal is that we split it 50-50, obviously the earnings and everything. And my father-in-law is the fixer guy, and I'm the guy who's supposed to fill it and make sure that they're happy. And so that's what we did for the first one. The second one, we just had kept saving, and so then we were able to do the 10% down, which was a huge help because we wouldn't have been able to afford it any other way. So one of the metrics that people go off of is for real estate investing is cash on cash return. So what that means is, how much cash does it take for you to buy the property or your down payment, because most of us don't have all the cash to buy it outright. So how much was your down payment and what was your return on that down payment after all expenses were paid? So we were able to, in our first year, because the market because of 2021 was a really good year for Airbnb and just where it is, we were able to have 100% cash on cash return. Typically anything above 20% is really good. So our numbers are a little different, mainly because it was a 10% down loan rather than a 25% down or a 20% down loan. That obviously changes the numbers for us, but that we were able to get 100% cash on cash return, which was great. Who inspired me to invest in real estate? Honestly, I just remember being in college and I had an internship working in Honolulu as a supply chain intern, which was kind of my dream at the time. I was working for a plumbing supply company, and the drive was about an hour each day, and I had to be there at 5. So it was about, I'd get up at like 3:30, drive an hour and go and work and then come home. And every time I'd go, I was like, well, I should be listening or reading to something. And I started listening to podcasts about real estate and just like self-help books. And I started to get obsessed with real estate because this whole idea of passive income where you can gain equity in a home, or like people pay you to live in the home that you have and you just make money every month without really having to go do the work, in the sense of driving, clocking in and clocking out. There's obviously work that goes into owning a real estate properties, and by no means am I a professional or am I loaded or any of these things, but it's inspired me because I want to be able to spend time with my family. I want to be able to live a financially free life where my real estate investments would be able to pay for my long-term or just my life expenses, my everyday living expenses. And that's kind of my goal. And after listening to so many books and podcasts, I've just become hooked and obsessed, and I create vision boards, and Britt and I talk all the time about trying to do this because it will be a way to help our children pay for things like college and make sure that they're taken care of and leave a legacy for them, but also so that we can spend time with them, and because that's what's most important to us is our family. And so I feel like real estate is a way to build wealth, because it's not all about getting rich in this world. I don't think it is. Anyways, I think there's a lot of people who are super rich but sometimes aren't super happy, and so there's a fine line there. Obviously everybody always wishes they can make more money, but I think investing in real estate is a way to make sure your money grows without letting it sit in the bank, and it's something I'm obsessed with. I'm just a nerd. You probably have never seen this side of me. All right, now everybody's seen me here in the airport, listen to me talk like a weirdo. I answered as many questions as I could. I need to head to my gate now. But if you liked the video, or if you have more questions, let us know, and maybe we could do a part 2 video. I'd be stoked. Bro would be like, whatever, Connor, why do you... Every time I'm talking about real estate, she just kind of zones out because she's like, all right, you talk to me about this almost every other day. Anyways, love you all. Thank you for watching. We have some fun things coming up these next couple weeks, so stay tuned.